Information provided is for illustrated purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness are not guaranteed. Indices are unmanaged and do not allow for direct investment. Past performance cannot guarantee future results. The host of this show, nor Grandview Asset Management, accept any liability for the use of the information discussed. Consult with a qualified financial, legal, or tax professional prior to taking any action.
We are back. Thank you for tuning in to Holy Family Radio, WHYF 720 AM. This is Investing for Eternity. And today I have my co-host with me, Bruce Smith, the real Bruce Smith, the only Bruce Smith that doesn't sell annuities for a living.
No, don't do that.
You're not a product guy, Bruce.
I've never been a product guy.
No, I don't think you have.
Never been.
And Mary Kate, who we call M. Kate. Mary Kate, how are you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Yeah. So
I got a donut. Bill bought me a donut this morning.
You don't even know what type it is. You didn't even look.
I know. I'm going to eat it after. It's too early in the morning.
I guess it doesn't matter what type it is.
As long as she has a cup of coffee, she's fine.
Yeah.
Coffee and donuts.
She's not okay today, Bruce, because her dad had to take her phone because they're switching, right?
Yeah, we're getting new phones.
So you don't have a phone for the day. What do you?
No.
I mean, you're a millennial. What are you going to do without a phone for a day? Are you going to make it?
I don't know. And like my dad was, teasing me. He's like, "Oh, are you going to be okay today?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll be fine." Well, I get in the car, I go to grab my phone and put on my music. Don't have a phone, so I had to listen to the radio. Like, I don't remember the last time I did that. So now I'm texting on my watch, and that's annoying.
So she's connected. She has an iWatch.
Yeah, I have the mini phone on my wrist.
Yeah, that's the problem with. I mean, I like the technology of phones, and it takes pictures, and you can stay in contact with people. But when you go out to dinner nowadays, all you see is the parents and the kids. Rather than talking to each other, they're on their dumb phones.
Mm-hmm.
They're not talking to each other. They should take put the phone at dinner, put the phones away, and have a conversation about what's going on in your life, what's going on in the day, what are you struggling with, what have you accomplished for the day or the week. Those conversations need to happen in American families in order for our kids to be able to communicate with each other. And it's just simply not happening. It's just unbelievable.
I don't disagree, Bill. we should have a basket at your front door and say put them in the basket.
See, I was thinking about this the other day. I grew up without a cell phone, right? Mm-hmm. And I did just fine. I used a regular old phone if I wanted to talk to my friends to play football or wiffle ball or basketball. I'd pick up the old-fashioned phone. I would dial them up, and we would, meet halfway. We lived about a mile apart because I lived out in the country, and we would ride our bikes and we'd play football all day. And we did, or we went fishing, or we went hunting, or we built forts. We were outside all day after we did our chores. Today, kids are on computers all day long. They're not out in the wilderness. When's the last time, Joe, have you seen a bunch of kids on bikes? You don't see them anymore.
Good day.
Or out fishing. You don't see it. It's just a lost, and the next generation is going to grow up with cell phones and iPads. It's going to be it's going to be normal for them to be on their phones all day long. because they're going to grow up. The kids that are being born today going to grow up with iPhones and tablets and computers, and that's going to be their whole life.
I don't want my kids to have an iPad. Am I going to be a terrible mom for that?
No, I think you'll be a good mom for
I
that.
feel like every toddler's running around with an iPad, and like I want my kids to play with toys, like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a cardboard box, as I did.
Yeah, I had a couple cardboard boxes back in the day, building forts in my living room.
Cool.
Shout out for today. I want to give a shout out to Dr. John Rossi, a good friend of mine. Guy listens to the show, Holy Family Radio, a supporter, and just a great husband and a father and a business owner. John, I love you. Thanks for listening to the show. Let's talk a little bit about the week in review, Bruce.
Well, one word. That's one word. Omicron.
Yeah, well, that's the new variant has taken over the airways, and thank God I watch CNBC during the day, and sometimes in the morning when I'm getting ready for the day, before I go to mass, I watch CNBC, and so I do pick up on some of the news that happens because CNBC has that on their program.
Right.
But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know. My wife informs me about what's important in the news. But this Omicron or Omicron variant, depending on who you listen to and how they pronounce it, is a variant that seems to be less deadly than the Delta variant. Is that true?
That's the indication so far, but that's from the doctor who's been treating people in South Africa. The symptoms are mild. The people that do have it are recovering nicely. But thing now is spread into a lot of different countries. I think it's 22 or 30 countries now.
How does this thing spread so quickly? And why does everything start in Africa or China?
Well, I think they might find out it didn't actually start in South Africa. That's until they get. But it's going to take a couple more weeks to get some more details. And people are very concerned that the current vaccines are not going to be effective against this. But I don't see that. I really don't. But that means I get another booster down the road. So be it.
Well, if you think about the flu vaccine, do you get the flu vaccine or not?
I do not.
I do. Okay. It's harmless and painless. The vaccine is built around what flu virus in Asia was 6 months before. They build a vaccine around it, right? And then they give it to us in the fall. But this is going to be the same thing with this SARS virus, and that's what it is. Yeah. This virus is going to continue to mutate and change.
Yeah. They might run out of Greek letters over the next 1 year. Omicron is a Greek letter, believe it or not.
Well, they skipped over the N,
right,
which would have been the new, the Greek letter new. They refused to call it the new coronavirus because people would have panicked.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But Omicron, it sounds like a transformer from the Transformer movies, taking over the world, the Omicron. I don't know.
Why couldn't they just go with Omega?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I feel like that would be easier.
Well, there's more to come. Fauci's been out speaking a lot. I know the Pfizer's, Moderna's.
I am tired of Dr. Fauci.
Yeah.
God bless him, but I can't. I haven't seen him in a long time because I stopped watching the news. But I know he's out there talking, right?
Yeah. And he's saying don't change your travel plans. He's saying have a good Christmas. So
I was going to take my wife to Italy this year, and we think we're going to postpone it. Just because we're afraid that we're not going to be able to get into some sites because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, it'd be a real bummer to get there and
not be able to get in.
Yeah.
That would really be a bummer.
Yeah. No. So Omicron, and right behind that is another word, and it's a gentleman's name by Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve. He was before the Senate and the House doing some testimony with Janet Yellen, and he said that we should retire the word transitory on inflation.
So transitory was transitory.
Transitory was transitory.
Short
right,
term.
That's exactly right. And that he says that maybe in December the board should start looking at really speeding up the bond buying taper. That really rattled the market. So
it was up 500 points. It went down 400 points, right?
I'm not sure what else he could say. made a comment that, now with this Omicron, which has been in the news about 2 days prior, he's going to start saying we're going to back away of our plan. I don't think so. I think he did the right thing, and he can always back away from it.
Yeah, well, you know what's out there looming, Bruce, is the debt ceiling. No one's talking about it, but as soon as they start talking about it, it's going to put pressure on the market again,
Yeah.
right? I mean, the market doesn't like when they start talking about debt ceilings.
Yeah, but if Omicron affects the economy, we better not be tapering or raising rates, because then we'd really get into trouble. So I think Powell did what he had to do. The markets didn't like it, but it's easier to back away than to start up again.
I was looking at my dad had the paper on the table, and it said something about Joe Manchin running for president in 2024. Is that true?
I did not see that. Does he have an exploratory committee
It
formed or
was on-
something?
I didn't read it, but I saw his picture, and it said 2024 on it.
Well, it might be Dr. Oz after he wins the Senate seat.
No, he's not going to win the Senate seat.
He's just going to go,
I'm
hey,
not gonna
I'm
vote.
going right for the
Is Dr. Oz running as a Republican or a Democrat for
Republican.
the Senate? Republican. He's not. He's never going to
Yeah.
win.
Get
That's
the
never
Senate
gonna
seat in 2020, next year, 2022, and then run for president. He's fast tracking, Bill.
That's all we need.
It's his secret plan.
Yeah.
I'm moving to Canada. This is what a crazy state we live in. Anyways, we need to take a break. Oh, we have another minute? Okay.
Well, let's look at the week ahead. We're going to talk more about Omicron. You mentioned the debt ceiling. In every December, we always talk about Santa Claus rally, whether there's going to be a rally. And I think the rally comes and goes. That's what's been happening this past week. We move up, get some news, and go down. It's that the whole bipolar effect of the markets right now. They have no concrete information, especially about Omicron.
Yeah, I think this virus is going to play into the market going into Christmas, but we'll see. Maybe we'll have a Santa Claus rally. We need to take a break. You're listening to WHYF 720 AM, investingforeternity.net to find out more about Christian-based investing. We'll be right back. And we're back. Thank you for tuning in to Holy Family Radio. You're listening to Investing for Eternity. Little news on November performances in the stock market, Bruce. The U.S. small caps were down for the month 4.28%. The U.S. mid cap was down 3.15%. The Dow Jones, which everybody follows, was down 3.73% for the month. The S&P 500, which is a larger basket of stocks, was down 0.83%. The NASDAQ, which is technology for the most part, up 2.5%. So technology did well.
Yeah, and those indices are showing, those percentages are showing. It wasn't really a bad month in November, although the headlines and some of the volatile swings made it feel like you're really getting hurt.
And people forgot October was a good month.
Yeah.
Right? And historically, it was odd because historically, October is a bad month and November is a good month.
Right.
Historically.
Yeah.
This year was kind of flip-flop to a certain degree, except for technology.
Yeah.
Oil was, in the beginning of November, was 83.91. At the end of November was 67, so it had dropped considerably, $16 a barrel.
Yeah. I mean, and you get into the 10-year, 1.55 at November 1st, and we ended up at 1.45.
That's because people were plowing into bonds coming out of small cap, mid cap, and large cap.
Yeah.
Right? They had someplace to go. The odd part is they didn't go into Bitcoin because Bitcoin started the month at 63,140, ended the month at 57,184, so it had lost $6,000 approximately per coin. But Ethereum went from 4,505 to 4,640. So Ethereum went up.
Yeah.
So some part of Bitcoin went up.
Yeah.
Some Bitcoins went up. Some Bitcoins went down.
Well, obviously, we're going to continue to follow the 10-year yields and also what the oil is going to be doing going forward, because that affects the economies.
Let's talk a little bit about Catholic news.
Oh, there was a really bad news.
About what?
Brian Kelly.
Well, he was going to leave. He had won. I think he's the all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame. He beat Newt Rockne's record. He'd been there for 12 years. What I was surprised is that he left before the season was over. Yeah. That was extremely disappointing because that's just poor. It's in poor taste.
Yeah, honey, here's the for sale sign. Put it out front. We're going to Louisiana.
He got a $95 million deal.
Yeah.
And I think he was making only a couple $1 million a year at Notre Dame.
Do you think the Pope can intercede?
I don't think they want him back.
Well, that's true.
At this point in time, he drove in, met the players at 7 o'clock in the morning, from my understanding, and said, I'm moving to LSU. I think he's going to have a real difficult time recruiting to LSU because a lot of players growing up watch Notre Dame football and want to play for Notre Dame. If you're a Pennsylvania football player, you don't grow up thinking that you want to play for LSU.
No, it's either a Penn State or
Notre Dame.
Or Notre Dame, yeah.
So I think he's going to have a hard time recruiting.
Yeah.
Other Catholic news: the Supreme Court is going to hear arguments on a major abortion case challenging Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been following that, but it's those conservative justices are leaning toward making some changes to Roe v. Wade.
That would be a prayers answered by
many
many Catholics.
We won't get the actual report until a few months from now, but it's obviously been in the news with the Roe v. Wade case. So it's going to be interesting. I
was really disappointed that the Catholic bishops didn't come out and make a stance against people taking communion that were pro-choice. I was disappointed. Personally, disappointed. I pray for those people. Yeah. But, I think they didn't want to turn off, there's a certain percentage of Catholics that are, I guess, must be pro-choice. And I don't get it. I don't know how I personally don't understand it, Do you understand it, Joe?
You don't understand it? You can't have it both ways.
No. You can't have it both ways. Yeah. No, you're right. You can't have it both ways. Let's talk about seriously. What's happening in the state of Pennsylvania is that I can't believe this is seriously happening again.
Yeah.
Lawmakers' salaries are going to rise by $5,000, the largest increase in a quarter century.
And it ties back to that last minute, behind the doors, slipped it under the door 1995 auto pay raise thing that they passed.
They automatically get a pay raise anyway.
Yeah.
This is on top of the automatic pay raise.
No, this is the auto pay raise.
This is the auto pay raise?
Yep. Oh. But it's adjusted for inflation. So that's why they're getting a higher number.
Remember, the legislators started out as part-time legislators, right? Only meeting during the winter months because if they were farmers, they had their fields to plow and harvest and plant, and so they met during the winter months. Now, is it a full-time job for these?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Some of them, if they're attorneys, they still practice law. They still do their law work.
Yeah. I was asked to be a state representative. I don't know if you know that or not. Did I tell you that? Yeah.
You should have.
No. Saying no to that.
Well, you could have fast-tracked yourself right to the...
No. I have
Bill Parker for president.
No. I was a mayor for 4 years, and that was a huge mistake. And I was in the middle of that, and they called me. The Speaker of the House called me and said, listen, we have a position for you opening. Would you like to take the position? We would support you.
Bill had to take a pay cut. That's why he didn't.
No, I didn't. I was tired of being, the person, as a mayor, I got phone calls all the time, and there were problems with the police department, and it was a nightmare.
It is. It is a lot of work.
And I think I got $1,200 a year to be the mayor, and I didn't take the salary. I told him to give it to the volunteer fire department. And then the police department got mad at me for giving it to the volunteer firefighters.
Mm. Well, hey, now some legislators obviously are not taking it, but what's really gets in your craw is the Pennsylvania is third in the country in the highest paid legislators and governor, behind, which would make sense, California and New York. We're the third highest in the country. That's jeez.
We gotta be near the top for some. Well, the only other thing that we're at the top of the list for is bad roads and bridges.
Well, anyway, that one's not going to go away. They'll never change it by vote, but they've tried to, but it's not going to happen.
And Dr. Oz, you talked about him earlier.
Yeah.
He's running for Senate. Seriously, this guy's running for Senate?
I don't know. He probably has some following. I mean, I've never even watched a show. He's a thoracic surgeon or something like that, or a cardio something surgeon.
Well, he's not. He can't be practicing because he's on TV all the time, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he does surgeries like once a month or something like that. I don't know.
I wouldn't want a doctor that was only practicing surgery once a month working on me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how his fundraising goes.
He's worth $100 million.
Wow.
Not bad.
That's his net worth, according to Google.
All right. Well,
why does he need to be a senator? It's not about money, Bruce.
That's all.
It's about power.
Yeah, power and position.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want somebody that's going to serve the people, that's there for the right reasons, not because obviously they're there to enhance their public status. Yeah. Economic and markets. There's an MLB lockout.
Yeah, Major League Baseball.
I don't see. Again, I'm not on the news, so I don't know.
The union. The owners couldn't agree. So
does anybody ever watch Major League Baseball anymore?
My point, I don't care personally. I really don't.
It should have been part of seriously.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. But there is economic impact, especially on the people that work the stadiums and things like that. So, but yeah, they're always. It's been a while since they've walked out, but they're. I know the football walked out years and years ago, but
yeah, I don't care.
How much more money can you pay these guys or gals, whatever?
Yeah, OPEC set to decide on output policy. Well, they're just going to decrease the output to increase the price.
Yeah.
We'll
see what they do. They might come up with some crazy number, but not enforce it.
Do you know how many millions of barrels of oil a day that the United States uses?
I have no idea.
18.4 million a day. So when Biden released 33 million barrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't even cover 2 days.
Yeah, but do we have lower gas prices recently? Down about 6
That
cents?
just tells you the whole thing is out of whack.
He tried his best.
Yeah.
And there's we've talked about the yield, not the yield curve itself, but interest rates in the 10-year. But it's starting to flatten a little bit. That means the longer term is getting closer to the shorter term. So to give you an example, 30-year is at 1.7, 10-year at 1.4, 5-year 1.2 roughly, and then the 2-year at 0.6. So we want a steep yield curve. That's the way it should be. In other words, the longer rates should be
much higher.
Yeah, the longer should be higher. So that's kind of signaling a little bit of a recession ahead. So we'll see.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with interest rates.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Retailers rang up $8.9 billion in sales on Black Friday, down from $9 billion spent on Black Friday last year.
Oh wow.
It's the first time ever that the growth reversed itself from the previous year.
I don't, they made a big deal about this, but I think with all the supply chain, everybody was out buying early.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. They weren't waiting until Black Friday.
Well, if that was the case, why wasn't it higher then?
No, I think going days before. It could
be
I
see
a week or a month before. That's what I did.
Yeah, I still don't know what to get. I mean, I only have one idea to get my wife, which I'm going to pick up this weekend. But I don't know what else to get her. I ordered her a crucifix because she has a crucifix collection. She likes crucifixes.
There's a cross you can get, Waterford Cross.
Yeah, no, she doesn't want that.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out this year. Usually I buy her a plant, but she doesn't want any plants. Yeah. So
gift card, Bill. Gift card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, I think people just were out spending more, but I think overall, but Cyber Monday, which used to be a big day, that was it dropped about 1%. Again, I think that's because everyone was buying before Thanksgiving, before than after.
Just think about that, Bruce. All the people that went out and spent money over the Thanksgiving weekend came out to about $19 billion, right? Mm-hmm. And that's everybody in the United States. This president just spent over $1 trillion on infrastructure. That's 1,000 billion. And is any of that money really going to infrastructure?
Probably not.
You think there's going to be a lockdown from Omicron?
No,
Yep.
I do not.
It depends on how bad it gets. That's what I say.
I can see some more mask requirements, not a mandate, not a mask mandate, but mask requirements going forward. But people do not want lockdowns.
No, I would agree with that. We need to take a break. You're listening to Investing for Eternity. To learn a little bit more about Catholic value investing for your portfolio, go to investingforeternity.net or call us at 717-541-1000 for a free portfolio review. You're listening to WHYS 720 AM, Holy Family Radio. We're back. You're listening to Investing for Eternity. Bruce, let's talk a little bit about jobless claims. There were 222,000 versus the 240, so it was
Good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Not a bad week. ADP payrolls were at 534,000 versus 505,000 estimated.
Another positive number for the economy.
There's not a lot of people out there to hire that want to work.
Right.
That's the key. That want to work.
Want to work, yeah. We've talked a lot about companies that try to reinvent going their strategy, their culture going forward. And this is a good example. Dollar General, which was hit hard by the supply chain, because they couldn't get their stuff from China for $1. This past year, they tested a store for wealthier shoppers. And now they're going to expand that to 1,000 locations because it was pretty successful. And it's going to be called Pop Shelf. And basically, they're going after the younger, wealthier, and more suburban shoppers. It's a little bit of an upscale Dollar General because there's high profit in things like home goods and seasonal decor. So kudos to Dollar General to saying, we can't continue to just do this $1 thing. We have to raise it to $1.25.
Well, I know where they can get 1,000 stores is that CVS is shutting down 900 shops. They can buy the stores from CVS and move into there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be good. Or if they're gonna renovate a current store, I don't know, but I think Dollar General saw the handwriting on the wall here, and they're trying to do something different. So good for them.
They're trying to compete with Amazon.
That's the whole thing.
The black star of retail.
Yeah. If you don't adapt, you die. That's the bottom line.
UBS hikes price targets for Google, says the tech giant stock can increase by nearly 40%, increases the price target to $3,925. Current price is at $28.32. I own some in my portfolio.
Yeah. And we haven't heard a lot about Google over the last 3 or 4 months. They've been pretty quiet in what they're doing. They can't do much because the government comes after them if they try to buy a company. They're obviously trying to increase their web services, cloud-type capabilities. But I use Google all the time.
Well, I think a lot of people do. A lot of people ask Bruce whether Google is a biblically responsible investment. And in my opinion, it is, because Google can be used to Google things that are very good, very positive, or it can be used to Google things that are very negative or sinful. But it's not Google that's creating the sin. It's the user using Google that's creating the sin. Does that make sense?
Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
So Google itself is not sinful. The users using it incorrectly or sinfully are using it for the wrong purposes.
Like that guy that used his car to mow down a few people at a parade.
Doesn't make the car manufacturer bad.
No, but now they're looking at they being the police and things like. How do we make those type of events safer from people using cars as a weapon? I don't know.
Yeah, but how often does it happen, Bruce? It's rare.
It is, but nobody wants to see anybody get killed.
No. But it's just like trying to get rid of guns because guns kill people all the time. Look at all the deaths they have in Chicago every year.
Yeah.
Over 3,000 homicides a year in Chicago. It's amazing when you think about it.
Don't take my guns.
Yeah, the guns aren't bad. The people using the guns are bad.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, are you saying I'm bad?
No, no, I'm saying
okay.
people use it for usually people use it incorrectly.
Yeah, thank you. I'm only kidding.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about stock news. Microsoft CEO sells 838,000 shares of Microsoft.
Who cares? That's what I would say. A lot of people look at those. Oh, the insider selling. This is a time to sell. But these guys have so many shares. They do it for tax planning. Some cases, estate
You know why
planning.
he did it? It's capital gains tax.
Yeah,
That's why he did it.
I'm totally correct with you on that one. Yep.
I think he thinks that Biden's going to raise capital gains tax from long-term capital gains from 15 to 21 or to 25, and he wanted to get under the wire.
Yeah, that's it. It's tax planning and some estate planning.
Twitter's you have Tom Dorsey,
Yeah, Tom Dorsey.
CEO, stepped down. I thought it was Jack Dorsey.
Is it Jack Dorsey?
It is Jack Dorsey.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey. CEO stepped down from Square.
Yeah.
And Square, they're going to change the name to Box, right? Or no,
Block.
Block.
You know, remember,
right. That's right.
Dorsey likes Bitcoin, so the block name is kind of used with blockchain. So that's that's where that block came from. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a big proponent of Bitcoin.
So he's stepping down from Twitter,
Twitter,
but he's still the CEO of Square. 'cause
which
it's gonna
is
change.
good. I mean, to be a CEO of two big companies like that's
a lot of work.
Amazon is poised to pass up UPS and FedEx to become the largest U.S. delivery service in 2022.
That does not surprise me one bit.
That's
It's
huge.
because everybody's using Amazon.
Yeah.
Walmart's CEO will have they're saying they're going to have a really good holiday season.
Yeah, and that was a quote from him. We're going to have a really good holiday season. You know, he's not worried about employees. He's not worried about supplies. So it's for him. It's moving forward. Of course, until he sees the returns come in, but that's
Yeah, in
Ouch.
January.
Yeah.
The first or the last week of December. Boy, this year went pretty fast, didn't it?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Capital One is ditching all consumer overdraft fees, giving up $150 million in annual revenue for overdraft
Whoa,
fees.
this is big news, in my opinion, especially for the banks, local banks that are. Elizabeth Warren hates overdraft fees. She's
Right.
been after that for a long time, but they make a lot of money. Banks make a lot of money on overdraft fees. So it'll be interesting to see who responds to this.
I don't think
the-
banks should. Maybe the large banks like J.P. Morgan and
Yeah.
Citibank and Bank of America might do away with it, but
Yeah.
I'm not certain that regional banks
Yeah.
or local banks are going to get
Well,
rid of it.
Warren's argument, and I kind of agree with it, is that it's the lower income people who have a bank account that are getting hurt by these overdraft fees. Makes sense.
Yeah, no
So,
doubt about it.
yeah.
Mastercard credit card applications at a pandemic high. They boost their dividends by 11% and announced that they're buying back $8 billion in stock buyback because the stock is down. It's pretty.
Yeah.
So it's a good time to buy it back.
Yeah. Good for them to do that.
Do you know what happened 20 years ago, Bruce? On this past week when it was December the 1st? You know.
That wasn't. I got married.
No.
No, it wasn't that. No, that was a little bit earlier.
MK wasn't born.
What?
You
In
were born.
2001?
You were
I was
born.
alive.
How old were you?
I was here.
Yeah.
I was December 1st, 2001. I would have.
What, 2 years old, 3 years
Yeah,
old?
2. I would have been 2.
Yeah, too. Well, there's a couple of good movies about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, what happened 20 years ago is Enron went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And Enron was the largest company, right?
Yeah. They're the largest energy trader in the country at the time.
Right.
And they were manipulating the trades, obviously. That's one of the issues they had with fraud. But Lay, I'm trying to think of some of the other names that were involved of it. Oh, my gosh. And the CEO would get up in front of his employees and say, buy Enron stock, buy Enron stock.
I didn't ever own any Enron.
I never owned Enron either.
When I was 2 months before Enron went belly up, it was in October of 2001. I went to a national workshop for advisors, and they had 5 analysts on the stage, if I remember correctly, and all 5 came out and said you have to own Enron in your portfolio. And when all 5 of them agreed, I thought, I'm not going to. There's no way I'm going to go along with this. I'm just going to stay away from it. And thank God I did, because we didn't own any of it and it went belly up.
Yeah.
And that was also around the tech bubble.
Yeah.
Right?
Right after it. Just took a while to catch up with all of them, what they were doing. Off balance sheet items. They used some Star Wars names to special, what do they call it? SPUs, special placement units or something like that. SPUs or
I don't remember.
I know this is how they're doing their accounting. It was pretty ingenious, but not legal.
That's why I went out of business.
Yeah.
They didn't have earnings, right?
Well, yeah, they had earnings, but
Yeah.
that they were fabricated, and that's because they were taking a lot of stuff off their balance sheet to put it into these SPUs. I think it was SPUs. So that they made their numbers look better.
Okay.
So
UBS says that their top pick for 2022 is going to be Uber. So the stock may double from here.
I'm not a rare. I don't like the.
My kids use Uber all the time.
Yeah, rideshare stocks. I don't know.
Moderna says it's going to take months to clear a new COVID vaccine targeting Omicron.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they'll probably have it out by the way things are moving. They'll probably have it out by what, April or May.
Yeah.
So what is New York City doing with?
They're reinstituted COVID mask advisories indoors for all residents. So they've already done it.
What about restaurants?
That's the indoor, anything indoor. It's an advisory. In other words, not a mandate.
So Biden came out and says Omicron is not a reason to panic.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I wish they would just come out and say that it's less lethal. And it might be actually, my wife's told me that it might actually be good for people because if more people got this variant, right, they wouldn't be affected, they wouldn't need to go in a hospital, and they would build up antibodies.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I like that approach. But South Africa was half of the U.S. when it came to vaccinations.
That's our fault, probably, right?
Yes, the
me guess.
WHO came out
And said it's United States' fault?
No, that the South Africa countries, things like those, are not giving the right number of vaccine doses. You know, they're not. So and it might be true. I don't know.
Well, it's Bloomberg says that there's evidence suggesting the Omicron is it? I can't read your handwriting.
It suggests it's no deadlier than the previous strains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
So if you're vaccinated, you should be fine.
I agree. Yeah.
Earnings. Well, I guess we can't go into the earnings calendar. That's for the next segment.
Yeah.
But one of the things I had dinner this week with a gentleman who is totally adamant about not getting the vaccine, and he said constitutionally they can't force me to put it into my body. But I know I have friends and clients that work for employers that they may mandate it, but the Biden mandate for vaccines have all been enjoined at the OSHA level, at the federal level. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be in court for a long time, Bruce.
I don't know what. Somebody says you'll have to put together a constitutional convention and make it an amendment to the Constitution.
No.
That's what I heard yesterday. Yeah.
What kind of amendment? To force people to take the vaccine?
Yeah, the government has the right.
Well, what did they do with the polio vaccine? Did they force people to take the polio? I mean, I got the vaccine in the mid '60s. What did you do? You remember if they enforced that, Joe, or not? You're older than I am. How did they get people to take the polio vaccine?
Forcing it, I remember getting a shot or two.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the little sugar cube thing.
Mm-hmm.
But people just went and did.
I think they just went and did it because they had the fear of getting polio. Yeah.
It was a visible sign. They didn't see their kids at 9
They didn't have YouTube back then, though.
And they weren't using aborted fetal cells to make the vaccine. That's the big issue. But apparently there's a vaccine coming out that didn't use the strain of aborted fetal cells. There's going to be a vaccine coming out. And then once that comes out, people that are objective to it can take the vaccine. There'll be a certain percentage of people that still won't, probably. Anyways, we need to take a break. We're running out of time. We'll be right back. You're listening to WHYS 720 AM, Holy Family Radio. Thank you for tuning in to Holy Family Radio, WHYF 720 AM.
We've covered a lot. Everything from Notre Dame football to Omicron, interest rates, Chairman Powell,
Biden,
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz. Yeah, we went over a lot this
boy. Well, thanks.
Went over some Catholic news. Bruce, You know, we don't talk a lot about on the show about what we do, and I think it's important for listeners to know. We are fee-based money managers. We charge a fee to manage money, so our income, our fee, is tied to how well you do in the portfolio. If you do well, we do well. If you do poorly, we do poorly, right? So we're
Exactly
fee-based money managers. We're not commission-based.
It's all transparent.
You know exactly what our fees are, right? And we buy individual stocks, and with BRI portfolios, there are some cases where we'll buy an ETF, in some cases even a mutual fund, to make sure that it's a biblically responsible portfolio, so that you're not investing in abortion or pornography or, you know, homosexuality, things that you may not believe, you know, you find morally offensive in your beliefs. We make sure that they're not in your portfolio. If you're invested in, you know, the typical mutual funds out there, Bruce, are invested in things that the average Catholic wouldn't want to be invested in. And you don't have to give up return.
Typical mutual fund is not using a Catholic values as a screening tool.
No, they don't care.
They don't care. They don't.
So if you're listening to the show and you're interested in learning a little bit more about what you own in your portfolio, we can run a screener to show you exactly what portion of the portfolio was invested in abortion and other things that are morally offensive to you. Put you in a portfolio that is going to honor Christ and honor your beliefs. I think that's important for listeners to hear.
Well, when we look at constructing a portfolio, that we obviously take that and we look at the various things that have the tools that we have available to us to build a strong portfolio for clients.
Right.
Within the belief of their values.
It's becoming more and more popular. I remember, 5 years ago, if one person or two or three came in a year, it was a lot. Now we probably have at least one or two a week.
It's really stepped up here in the last 3 months, I would say.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, I think people listening to the show have a duty to make sure that they're not invested in those things. And we don't talk enough about what we do. And, we're certified estate planners. I'm a certified Kingdom advisor. I went to school to give BRI advice. Both you and I are accredited fiduciaries. And I did get you your book to become a certified estate planner, but you haven't opened it up yet.
I have opened it up.
You opened it up. Step one.
Yeah.
Mary Kate, where are you in your book?
Oh, I'm way ahead. I'm starting chapter 4 today.
No.
I've been giving him my notes.
But I just got an email this week about my CE credits coming up on my accredited fiduciary designation.
I didn't get mine. I didn't get an email from them.
Yep, I got it.
Is it coming for 2022, you mean?
Yeah, for 2022. I got until February 1st.
Oh, see, mine's due in April or May.
Yeah, you'll get one too.
Yeah. What a pain in the neck.
Yeah,
Do you have to go online and watch it?
Well, they want you to update your info. Second, write a check.
Right.
And then third, you can go on to the online courses to get your accreditation.
Maybe I'll do that between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. I was going to set some time to get that one out of the way because I want to get back to the certified estate planner.
Right.
That's a little more. Not that it's not more important, but they're both very important.
Let's talk a little bit about earnings. Salesforce earnings per share and revenue beat, but they had a light forecast.
Yeah.
Ever since they joined the Dow, the stock has been languishing.
I think we mentioned this before. It's starting to look like an IBM. Quarter after quarter, there's always an issue. With the stock or their earnings or their revenues.
Well, but IBM has what's the dividend yield on IBM? It has to be 4% at least, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Yeah, we'll do a quickie.
You'll do a quick synopsis of that. But while you're talking about that, CrowdStrike had very good earnings. They beat on EPS and revenue, and they came out with a strong forecast going forward. And the stock jumped 3.9% on this past Thursday.
Yeah, IBM's dividend yield is 5.6%.
5.6.
Right.
So that's a good place to get dividend yield, right? Yeah. Snowflake. I know you like Snowflake.
I like Snowflake, and I do own the stock, but it was an IPO earlier this year. It's involved with artificial intelligence and cloud services. And they did pretty well on their earnings. So we'll see where it goes from here.
What does Snowflake do? I don't know exactly. I know it's a technology company, but what actually do they do?
Artificial intelligence, cloud services, helping the companies take their data and make it work for them. Sort of same thing that Amazon does, just in a more designated area of people. So it's the ticker. If anybody out there wants to look at it, it's the ticker symbol SNOW. So
Snow.
Snow,
right?
Yeah.
ETF of the week. You picked an ETF of the week. Why don't you go through it since it's your ETF of the week?
Well, with this and everything that's going on with interest rates going up, one sector that should do pretty good with higher interest rates should be the financial stocks. This is the Financial Select Sector Spider Fund. Ticker symbol is XLF. That's X-Ray Larry Frank. Price around 38 right now, 52-week range, 28 to 40. Has a yield of 1.5%. And when you're looking at a tighter monetary policy, that's Governor Powell again. That's by tapering the bond purchases and raising rates. That should push rates higher. If the rates go up, that's good for the banks. It boosts their profits.
So you think rates are going up and banks will profit from it?
Exactly. Yep.
So this is a good way to play the banks without owning a bank stock.
Yeah, that's if you don't want to try to pick a stock. If you look at their top holdings, it's Berkshire Hathaway, and you say, well, wait a minute, they're not a bank. They're not, but the second largest holding is Bank of America in
Right.
Berkshire. That's why it's on there. J.P. Morgan, Bank of America directly, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Charles Schwab, and American Express. And even if the economy is growing, you should see continued loan growth. That's another area where the banks make a lot of money, but it's net interest income is where they make their money off of the spreads on interest rates.
You know what's starting to slow down is people buying homes and getting mortgages and selling homes. A friend of mine is in the home inspection business. And during COVID, his business slowed down, Bruce, tremendously because people were buying homes without the inspection, right?
They just wanted the home.
They just wanted the house. So they didn't hire a home inspector to inspect the home.
I couldn't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'd hire somebody.
Well, you wouldn't get the house.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I know, but I'll move on to the next one. No.
When your daughter bought her home out in Arizona, she had inspected?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yeah. And they found some things related to the pool and the air conditioning unit.
Well, they always have to find something. That's why you
Yeah,
hire them, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the? But my friend, he owns Accurate Home Inspecting, Chris Madison, who's also a client. He has to get up on roofs all the time, Bruce.
Yeah.
You know, and Chris is probably 60 years old, and he's getting up on a ladder and climbing up on roofs on the third story. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're supposed to get radon tests. I don't know whatever
Yeah,
happened
he
to
does that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he does that all the time.
Yeah.
That the big thing right now is mold testing.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Mold testing is a
Yeah.
huge thing right
Yeah.
now.
But radon was always the thing to do.
Right. Well, it is still a thing. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. MK, you're up for the earnings calendar.
Earnings. So Monday, December 6th, that's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. There's not really anything that we follow. Tuesday, December 7th, we have AutoZone, PagerDuty, Stitch Fix, and Toll Brothers.
I'm going to be interested in Toll Brothers that day because of the housing. It's going to be interesting with the price of lumber coming down, are more people building homes?
And we owned Stitch Fix a while back.
Yeah.
They were the leader in that industry. That industry was order clothes. If it didn't fit, send it back.
Right.
Then everybody else jumped on the bandwagon, and so we'll see if they are still trying to be the dominant player in that space.
Wednesday, the 8th, is Campbell's Soup, GameStop, and Oracle.
GameStop, I don't understand how they're making money.
I thought they were all gone.
Yeah, that's the meme stocks with the Robin Hood people.
Wall
going.
Street Bets.
Yeah, Wall Street Bets. Campbell Soup was a stay-at-home stock.
A lot of people bought soup during COVID.
Oh yeah, I mean you can find a chicken noodle on the shelf.
I lived on soup in college because it was easy. I'd throw it in the microwave. It was a nice meal. Thursday, December 9th, is Chewy, Broadcom, Costco, Lululemon, and Athletica.
Yeah.
Friday, not much.
Yeah,
Friday,
no,
not much.
No, but Costco is actually a good BRI stock. We have Chewy. That's people that order for their pets. So,
I just got an email from PetSmart that the pet food that I normally get every month for my dog is out of stock. and then they're going to get in touch with me. What is my dog going to eat?
Human food.
Oh, when I feed my dog, my wife goes absolutely berserk when I feed the dog people food. Wherever I go in the house, the dog follows me because she thinks I'm going to feed her.
Yeah. You probably you have a little stash.
I love my dog.
Yeah.
I want my dog to eat people food. Is that wrong of me, Bruce?
I've always fed my dogs people food.
Yeah, our dog, his name's Bentley. He got turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We gave him a little plate.
Yeah.
Of course.
Did Stella get turkey?
Yeah. Birthday.
I gave her turkey. My wife wouldn't give her turkey.
Good.
Birthday cake. And,
Yeah, she deserves it.
that's what they love chocolate.
I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was
my
not good
dogs
for her.
did. My
All right.
dogs love chocolate.
You're a dog person, Bruce.
Oh yeah, I love big dogs.
Right. Me too. I don't like little dogs. I know your girlfriend has little dogs.
Yeah. And I love those dogs, Bill.
All right. Let's talk about economic calendar. All right. Tuesday, trade balance, unit labor costs. That's going to be interesting. Unit labor costs is going to be up because of wage inflation.
Sure.
Consumer credit comes out on Wednesday. Mortgage application index, I think that's going to drop.
Yep.
Thursday's continuing claims, initial claims, wholesale inventories, and more importantly, natural gas inventories.
Yeah. There's crude oil as well as on Wednesday.
Oh, really? Did
Yeah.
I miss that?
Yep.
Okay. And Friday, core CPI
Yeah.
comes out. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Preliminary. Was that for preliminary for 2022?
It'll be for the quarter.
Oh, for the quarter.
Yeah.
And the Treasury budget, which is
Yeah.
blown through the roof.
Yeah, that's they shouldn't even put that on there. But the CPI, I think next week will be the big number. Obviously, it ties to the whole inflation and interest rates.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again for tuning in to Holy Family Radio and Investing for Eternity. Go to investingforeternity.net to learn a little bit more about what we do. Or go to grandview.com. You can reach us at 717-541-1000. May God give you peace, wisdom, and joy. I will continue to pray for you in my morning rosary for whatever you're struggling with. Pick up the phone this weekend, call somebody, tell them that you're proud of them, that you love them. It'll make their day and your day as well. God bless you. We'll be back next week.